Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in this live section. Let's really talk about what really happened in court. Now, you guys know that in court, they accused Mazen Nnamdi Kanu of saying that he was associated with the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide, Gulak. Yes, they accused him that he was associated with his mother. Now, Vanguard now came out and said that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast led to the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide, that's Gulak. And people are like, this is false information. Why is it that Vanguard is always like trying to say something against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Why is it that Vanguard is always against Mazen Nnamdi? Look at the way they turned it. But in 2021, we all remember that Hope Uzodinma brought up something saying that this was what Hope Uzodinma said about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He was saying that Uzodinma distanced IPOB from Gulak's killing, saying it has political undertone. This was when Hope Uzodinma was saying that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu does not have any hand in Gulak's killing. That is Jonathan ex-aide. And all of a sudden, in court, when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was in court, they accused him that he was associated with that man's killing. Now, Vanguard still had to come out to start giving people false narration of what happened. Just take a look at what Vanguard said. How Kanu's broadcast led to the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide, Gulak. People are saying, who's even sponsoring Vanguard News? Who is sponsoring Vanguard? Why are they always against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Giving people false information, trying to turn things against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. This was what Hope Uzodinma said. This is what he narrated. He was like saying that they said Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State says the killing of Ahmed Gulak, a former presidential aide, has political undertone. Addressing a press conference in Owerri, the state capital, on Monday, Uzodinma countered police claim that he was spied by members of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, that is IPOB. This was what Hope Uzodinma was saying in 2021. This was when he was telling the whole world that it was not IPOB that was responsible for the killing of Galak. Then Alhaji Ahmed Golak was in Imo State for a national assignment. He came to Owerri with the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments. Being a humble man, he chose to travel incognito, according to his friend who was with him. Someone must have trailed him from the hotel to the airport. This is exactly why his gruesome murder appears to be a clear case of political assassination, he said. This was when Hope Uzodinma was narrating what happened to Ahmed Golak. This is where he was informing people that it was not Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that spied that man. In fact, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was not associated with the murder of this man. Then reading on here, it says the brutal and callous assassination of Alhaji Ahmed Golak yesterday, Sunday, May 30th, 2021, on his way to the Sambakwe Cargo Airport is painful because he did not deserve to die that way. Like, this is Hope Uzodinma saying the truth, because I don't know why they wanted to accuse Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in court, saying he was associated with the killings of Ahmed Gulak. Then reading on, it says the death of this compatriot is a personal loss to me because he was an invaluable friend and brother whose sense of justice, fairness, and uprightness endeared him to me. I was shocked to my marrows when the sad news of his callous murder was broken to me. I was getting ready to go to church when the sad news came and I could not attend the service again. It was simply one of the most devastating news I have heard in my life, and I'm yet to recover from the shock. It remains a puzzle to me why anyone would want to murder him in this gruesome and vigorous manner. You can see that this was what Hope Uzodinma was actually telling the public, that the murder of Gulak was not IPOB. It was not Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu does not have anything to do with it. But just take a look at what Vanguard released in their page just recently about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. See what they said. They said how Kanu's broadcast led to the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide, Gulak. And this was the way they turned it into. And many people have been asking Vanguard who paid them to do this. Why is it that they're always against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Why is it that they're trying to bring Mazen Nnamdi Kanu down? Anyway, guys, I want you guys to just take a look at this video and listen to what these people have to say about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in court. So guys, take a look at this video and I'll be right back.
President Special Advisor Ahmed Gulak Also, during the second prosecution witness during the cross-examination revealed that Kanu's calls for sit-at-home orders in southeastern states led to the killings of innocent citizens. He said that Kanu directly ordered or caused the death of Sergeant Odu Lucas, a private, Glory Matthew, and Gulak. He disclosed that the victims were not only killed, but that they were also beheaded by Kanu's followers who were enforcing the sit-at-home directive. He also detailed how a coordinated investigation confirmed that these killings were carried out from Kanu's supporters. They provided additional details of the widespread violence triggered by his broadcast. Now, guess what happened? They also mentioned that Kanu's testimony revealed that the followers set fire to police stations in Sele and Ilasa, both in Lagos, and destroyed about 100 luxury buses owned by the Lagos state government. Now, Kanu denied all of these claims. He said that why would he order for those things to be banned when Lagos state is not a Biafran state? Now, if you recall that the NSAS protest was tagged, they called it an Igbo protest because of what happened when obviously the protest was carried out by all Nigerians from different ethnic groups. But because of that incident, they linked it to the broadcast and said that it was an Igbo protest. How do you react to this? Nnamdi Kanu has distanced himself from that, saying that what happened in Lagos had nothing to do with him. He said that he did not ask anyone to destroy any property in Lagos. He also mentioned the fact that the broadcast did not necessarily necessitate.
Said we were not protesting. Quite a couple of others said we were not protesting. Quite a couple of others still protested in the north. And in the whole of southern Nigeria, there were protests against police activities because of the way they were handling the youth. And then it received international recognition. And the SARS was condemned to the extent that the agency was disbanded and replaced with what they call SWAT then. Whether the SWAT is still operational or whether SARS has come back in another disguise is a story for another day. But it is very shameful for any human being to begin to ascribe it to the Igbos. If in the course of NSAS protest things were damaged, as unfortunate as it was, it will be very bad for any human being to reason or say or even pretend to mean that these were Igbo protests. That is regurgitating the evils of the first coup, the military coup in Nigeria that happened on 15 January 1966, which was ignominiously and shamelessly tagged Igbo coup. Even when people knew exactly that it was obviously not an Igbo coup. Then Nnamdi Kanu had always said that he never had wanted people to sit at home. And anybody who is looking at issues with respect to the agitation for Biafra should separate the line between that drawn by Nnamdi Kanu and that drawn by Simon Ekpa. It's important to know that. Nnamdi Kanu has several times, even while in detention, said that he never called for sit at home. He never called for anything that will affect the life of the people that he was fighting for. And even when there was challenges of the unknown gunmen, we continue to ask the federal government through the agencies, the security agencies of the government, to pinpoint who the unknown gunmen were. And if the agencies of the federal government, all of them, Army, Air Force, Navy, SSS, National Intelligence, and the rest of them, the police, if they could not pinpoint who the unknown government were, that means they just relapsed and went to call a dog a bad name in order to hang it, and simply said they were IPOB officials. We needed them to be apprehended, and even when some were apprehended somewhere in Imo State, one of the men was found out to be an SSS official. When he was searched, and the identity card on him was that of an SSS. When he died in the gun battle with the military, and the government swept it under the carpet. So such narratives should not sway even the reasoning of the court. And anybody who is bringing such narrative does not love Nigeria. The challenges that we face today challenge of insecurity that has been the main bane of Nigerians' current living is one that we should be taken seriously and not one that will be allowed to be politicized. I think what they are only trying to do is to politicize the insecurity situation in the country by calling a dog a bad name. And so every bad thing that happened in southern Nigeria, they will say it was Nnamdi Kanu. I think it's a very big shame for anybody to say so. Even when he has been in detention for the most part of since 2015, when he was arrested, he was in detention. When he was given bail, the same military chased him out of Nigeria, and he was apprehended and brought back in 2021, and has also been in detention ever since then. They should know what to tell Nigerians, because we are all not fools. We are listening, and we know where the water has passed under the bridge.
All right, Barrister Fred Nzako, like I asked you earlier, Nnamdi Kanu said that any involvement or activities of IPOB, or as they said, was organized in the Southeast, that he doesn't have any involvement with that, and that IPOB cannot be associated with that because he said that IPOB is a peaceful organization. But in the same vein, he said again that anything that happened in Lagos is not attributed to him, despite the broadcast having to simultaneously percolate or circulate at the time. He also faulted the manner of his arrest. He criticized invasion of his residence by armed soldiers, which he claims led to his fleeing the country for fear of his life taken by them. He further condemned his subsequent arrest in Kenya and extradition back to Nigeria. So, Paul Erukoro, that is the defense lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu, requested an adjournment to prepare for cross-examination, and the trial will commence on May 14, 21 and 22, 2025. So, some analysts like yourself has said, is it possible for Nnamdi Kanu to apologize for the statements that were made, possibly in the heat of the moment, not necessarily intending for his broadcast to have elicited the reaction as alleged by this DSS official? Others have asked questions that if somebody asks you to put your hand in a fire just because you regard the person, would you go put your hand in a fire if you know that the fire will hurt you? So why ascribing his broadcast to certain elements that took place when he cannot directly be attributed to what transpired? How do you react to this situation?
It is the duty of the court to separate the wheat from the chaff. It is also the duty of the court to separate an utterance from an action. In most criminal adjudication, we are looking at actions. We are looking at causes and the effect. If Nnamdi Kanu made statements that some other accusers, why have they not apprehended those who committed the actions directly and physically? If the government is not doing well and we criticize the government, does it mean that any other person should go and go to Eagle Square and start to stone the seat of power? There must be a difference between action and words. Even though some people will now begin to argue, oh, what happened between Hutus and Tutsis and what is our country in Kigali, in Rwanda, emanated from words, but that was on the realm of hate speech that did not emanate from one man. There is no way one man will sit anywhere and direct your action when obviously he does not control your life. And that is why we have always asked the security agencies to go straight to those who commit offenses and not to sit down and be looking at who said what. Because if you don't sit down and be looking at who said what, you're only looking for a low-hanging fruit. The crux of the matter is who has committed a particular infraction and who has committed a particular crime. Under the terrorist situation that Nigeria has been unfortunately experiencing since 2009, so many people have made statements that you could say were infuriating. but the government never went against them.
Can you recall when an Islamic cleric actually called for the assassination of the president's wife? Can you remember?
The Islamic cleric made such a call. Was he arrested?
No, he wasn't arrested.
Cleric sometime even called that asked for the assassination of Mr. President when Jonathan was in power. Was he arrested? The people that the 400 names that were given to the federal government as sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria, was any of them arrested? These are all the basic things you should ask. And then the people that carry AK-47 openly, moving from one point to another, without any authorization or any authority from law, have they ever been arrested? And now you now say that one man will sit somewhere and he said, oh, go and apprehend Mr. President. And you said the man has committed a crime because he said, go and apprehend Mr. President. If we want to be lawful in a country, we do not want to make two laws, one for Mr. A and one for Mr. B. Nigeria should not be operating on two pendulums. You are swinging on the right against the people. You are swinging on the left in favor of the rich or in favor of some other people in the same country. There cannot be two laws for the same people in any environment, and you expect peace to reign. So I think what the court must look through is the separate statement from actions. Action is what is important in any criminal trial, and not statement. Statement could go into the realm of assault, realm of insult, and realm of a tortious act, and not issue of criminality.
Well,
the man who is found with the gun should answer for his crime.
Well, Nnamdi Kanu has actually distanced himself from what transpired based on the reported testimony of the DSS official. He said the movement that he leads, which is IPOB, is not violent, and that in a democracy people have the right to protest. He never ordered anyone to kill. He also asked about when he was asked about the attacks on public institutions and all of that, Kanu denied any direct connection, reiterating IPOB's philosophy of non-violence. Meanwhile, he's challenging the prosecution's attempt to blame him for the death of Ahmed Gula, questioning the evidence linking IPOB to the incident. That's basically what his legal counsel is actually putting out there.
The police at then said that Ahmed Gula was killed on his way from the airport in Imo State,
yes, by
unknown gunmen.
Exactly.
Up to today, the government has not been identified.
So how come are they linking those unknown gunmen to IPOB? How are they linking that to him?
That is calling a dog a bad name in order to hang it. Unknown government does not mean IPOB, and IPOB does not mean unknown government. The security agencies have a responsibility to tell Nigerians who are the unknown government. They cannot be unknown for years and unknown permanently, only for them to turn around and say they are IPOB. The philosophy of IPOB is agitation without violence. And that was why when IPOB was declared a terrorist organization, the whole world laughed at Nigeria because the lies were very barefaced and very open. And all over the world, there's no place where IPOB is recognized as such. It was only the wicked administration of President Muhammadu Buhari that targeted IPOB, a terrorist organization. They are freedom fighters. They are agitators for self-determination. And they are not alone. There are other agitators in Yoruba land. There are agitators in the South. There are agitators in the North, in the Middle Belt. And there are agitators all over the country. And each agitator is entitled to his opinion and entitled to freedom of association. And it is the duty of the government to look into the agitation and solve whatever the agitation problems are, and make Nigeria to remain one. Remember that some people that went to Ibadan about 2 years ago and hoisted the flag of a Yoruba group, of a Yoruba nation, and tried to sack the House of Assembly in Ibadan. What has happened to them? Can you call them?
They were arrested. They were arrested that very day. Maybe
where is the matter today? A lot of them have been let off the hook. The leader of that organization, Professor Banji Akintoye, was not arrested and nothing happened to him. And because he knows what he was talking about, we supported him then because of the fact that There must be freedom of association. We must negotiate our mutual existence as a nation. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that if we fail to restore this country, we may be driven to the point where there will be dismantling of the structure itself, and that will.
So, my people, I'm sure you guys have heard what these interviewers really have to say about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case in court. Now, the question is that we do see most of these people always arresting. They say that anybody who is carrying gun illegally, they're going to arrest them. But all these terrorists that are carrying guns, like they are always spying people in the northern side. Why is it that there have not been any arrests made to these people? Now they say that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist, but they don't have full evidence where he's seen with a gun or anything. Now the main people who are carrying guns, like this Boko Haram or this Fulani herdsmen, they have not actually charged these people to court for terrorism. This country has scattered, and if you don't start fighting this kind of thing now, you know that this country is going to scatter at the end. We need a revolution in Nigeria. Just imagine what is happening. They even had to even say that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was associated to the murder of Jonathan ex-aide Gulag. And why would they even accuse him of such a thing? And Hope Uzodinma in 2021 came out to tell the whole public that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was not associated with the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide Gulag, that he was never associated with it, that IPOB has nothing to do with it. But these people still keep accusing him. When I tell you guys that the federal government are always looking for a means to actually bring this man down in every possible way, just know that that is their plan. Their plan is that they want something to use against him so that they can have the ability and the power to keep him behind bars. That is just their plan. But they have forgotten that God is already with this man, and Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will always be vindicated. Now, if we did not know, thank God that Hope Uzodinma came out in 2021 and made this known to the public. Imagine if Hope Uzodinma did not make this known to the public. Now, people will feel that he was associated with the murder of Jonathan's ex-aide Gulag. Like, a lot is really happening in this country, to be honest. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu needs to be given his freedom. Everything the man said in court, what the interviewers were asking him is the truth. Even when they asked him how is he associated with ESN, and he told them that ESN is just a security that was made in Biafra land in order to protect the mothers, and especially in the Igbos, that's the middle belt, to protect them when they are going to farm. Like, a lot is really happening in our country called Nigeria. I can remember, if you guys used to follow my video, there's a video where I showed about Sokoto people. We are living a video like those people, we are leaving their community. When I mean the elderly men were carrying their luggages at the back, and they were leaving their community. Like, these Fulani herdsmen have already given them warning. And the worst part of it is that these Fulani herdsmen do tell them that they should raise such amount of money. If they will tell them that in this community should raise 4.8 million, you can't raise 4.8 million, they were going to come and attack. And you find out that those people don't really have anything. They don't even have big money in order to raise this thing. And before you know it, once the community refuses to pay, this Fulani herdsmen will now come and attack them. This is a pity. Like, this is very, very bad. There was a video I played. If you guys used to follow me, there's this video I played where the Sokoto people were with their luggages, like they were leaving their own land, their own community. They have now given their community to strangers. You can imagine what is really happening. A lot is really going on in Nigeria, and we're only asking that the government should help us to fight this insecurity, because it's getting too much, and this insecurity has cost lots of lives and properties. Imagine, some people don't even know that insecurity has contributed to but not even, it has contributed to the cost of food, because a lot of people don't know that the reason why there's high cost of food in the market today is because of insecurity. Yes, take for instance, let me say, these farmers now that they are denying them from going to their farm. These farmers don't longer go to their farm again because of Fulani herdsmen, which is insecurity. Now, let me say, when Nigeria was good, or let me say less, when there was a lesser insecurity, people used to go to farm. We had a lot of farmers, but now currently you hardly see 2 or 3 farmers in Nigeria again. Highest, you're going to see like 1 farmer. And now this 1 farmer, when the person produce crops or goods and want to sell to the market, he's going to put his own price, like he's going to top price on top of it, because he knows what it took him to go to that farmland and cultivate. Because what these Fulani herdsmen are doing to our farmers in Nigeria is not funny at all. Like these farmers do pay taxes to them in order for them to cultivate in their own land. This is really bad. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thoughts below. And also, if you know you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like, and share. So, guys, thank you for joining me in this live section.